847 reply all emails. That's how many my cubicle neighbor sent about me over 6 months. She copied the entire company, including 3 different CEOs, all because she claimed my yogurt was, quote, an act of olfactory terrorism. But when IT finally pulled the server logs, they didn't just find emails. They found something that got her escorted out by security.
I've worked in corporate accounting for 11 years. I've survived 3 mergers, 2 hostile takeovers, and a CEO who once made us all attend a mandatory seminar on synergizing our chakras. Nothing prepared me for Patricia Vance. Patricia was assigned to the cubicle directly adjacent to mine in January of last year. Our desks shared a thin partition, the kind that's supposed to provide privacy but really just means you hear every single phone call, every sneeze, every passive-aggressive sigh. The first week, she seemed normal, professional even. She organized her desk with military precision, color-coded folders, a small succulent she named Gerald, a framed photo of her cat wearing a bow tie. Then, I brought yogurt for lunch. It was strawberry, store brand, the same yogurt I'd been eating at my desk for 3 years without incident. I peeled back the foil, took exactly 1 bite, and heard it. "Excuse me?" I turned to find Patricia standing at the edge of my cubicle, her lips pressed into a thin white line. "Is that dairy?" she asked. "It's yogurt," I said. "I'm aware what yogurt is. I'm asking if you intend to consume it here, at your desk, 3 feet from my workspace." I glanced at my yogurt, then back at Patricia. "Yes?" She closed her eyes like she was summoning patience from some deep spiritual reserve. "I see. I'll be documenting this." And she did. Oh, she documented everything. The first email came that afternoon. It was addressed to our direct supervisor, Sandra, with HR CC'd. The subject line read, "Formal complaint regarding hostile olfactory environment, incident number 1." The email was 847 words. I know because I counted. She described my yogurt consumption in excruciating detail, the aggressive peeling of the metallic seal, the performative stirring, the deliberately prolonged mastication. She included timestamps. She referenced OSHA guidelines that definitely did not apply. She demanded I be relocated to a designated dairy consumption zone. Sandra responded with a single line, "Patricia, please see me when you have a moment." I assumed that was the end of it. I was catastrophically wrong. The next day, I found a sticky note on my keyboard. It said, "Some of us have sensitivities." The word sensitivities was underlined 3 times. I ate my yogurt anyway. 20 minutes later, another email hit the company server. This time, she'd replied all to the entire accounting department, 47 people, with the subject line, "Urgent, repeated violations of workplace wellness standards." By the end of the first month, she'd sent 83 emails. She'd created a spreadsheet tracking my incidents. She'd printed out articles about lactose intolerance and left them on my chair. She'd even filed a formal request with facilities to install an air quality monitoring station between our cubicles. I went to HR. I sat across from a woman named Deborah who looked like she'd seen things. Terrible things. Probably involving Patricia. "We're aware of the situation," she said carefully. "Patricia has some communication style differences. She sent 83 emails about my yogurt. We're monitoring it. She called me a biological warfare agent in front of the VP of operations." Deborah's eye twitched almost imperceptibly. "We'll document that." Nothing changed. The emails kept coming, but the yogurt wasn't even the worst of it. See, Patricia had decided that my entire existence was an assault on her workspace. She complained about my typing speed. Apparently, it was aggressively percussive. She complained about my phone voice, unnecessarily baritone. She complained that I breathed too loudly during conference calls. She started a petition to have me moved to a different floor. She got 3 signatures, all of people who didn't actually work in our department. By March, I dreaded coming to work. I'd sit in my car for 15 minutes every morning, steeling myself. My wife noticed I wasn't sleeping. My doctor asked if I was under usual stress. Then, the lunch theft started. The first time, I assumed it was an accident. I'd left my lunch in the shared refrigerator, a turkey sandwich, an apple, and yes, a yogurt. When I went to retrieve it at noon, the yogurt was gone. I checked everywhere, behind the condiments, under the suspicious Tupperware that had been there since the previous administration, nothing. I mentioned it casually to my coworker Marcus, and he shrugged. Happens sometimes. Someone probably grabbed it by mistake. But it kept happening. Every time I brought yogurt, it vanished. Only the yogurt. The sandwiches remained untouched. The apples sat there lonely and confused. I started labeling my yogurt with my name in permanent marker. It still disappeared. I tried hiding it in a brown paper bag. Gone. I put it in a locked lunchbox. Someone pried it open. I knew it was Patricia. I knew it in my bones, but I couldn't prove it. Then came the reply all incident that broke the server. It was a Tuesday. Patricia had been quiet for almost a week, which should have been my first warning. At 2:47 p.m., an email landed in my inbox, and in everyone else's inbox, and in the inbox of every single employee at the company, all 2,300 of them. Subject, formal declaration, the yogurt insurgency must end. She'd replied all to a company-wide announcement about the holiday party. Her email was 3,200 words. It included a timeline of my crimes. It included photographs she'd taken of my yogurt containers. It included a petition demanding my termination. And then people started replying. To all. Please remove me from this thread. What is happening? Who is this woman? Stop replying all. Unsubscribe. Within an hour, the email server crashed. IT had to shut everything down for emergency maintenance. The CEO, our third one in 2 years, sent a memo the next day about appropriate use of company communication systems. Patricia received a written warning. She responded by filing a complaint that I had orchestrated a coordinated harassment campaign against her via excessive email traffic.
Okay, I have to stop here for a second, because at this point, I was losing my mind. 800 emails, stolen lunches, a crashed server, and HR kept telling me they were monitoring the situation. I need to know, what would you have done? Hit subscribe if you think I should have just quit and walked away from this insanity. Drop a comment if you've ever had a coworker this unhinged, because what IT found next, it changed absolutely everything. After the server crash, IT launched a full investigation. Not because of Patricia's behavior, oh no, because someone in legal was worried about data loss and potential liability. They pulled 6 months of server logs, email records, and security footage from the break room. I didn't know any of this was happening. I just know that for 3 glorious weeks, Patricia was quiet. She still glared at me over the partition. She still made theatrical gagging noises when I ate anything at my desk, but no emails. Then I got called into a meeting with HR, IT, and our department head. Deborah from HR looked different, less defeated, almost eager. "Please sit down," she said. "We need to discuss some findings." The IT director, a guy named Raymond, who I'd maybe spoken to twice, pulled up something on his laptop. "During our server investigation, we reviewed email patterns and flagged unusual activity," he said. "Patricia Vance sent 847 reply-all emails in 6 months. Most contained your name. We also found 234 emails to HR, 89 emails to facilities, and 67 emails to legal, all about you." I nodded slowly. "I'm aware." "What you may not be aware of," Raymond continued, "is that we also reviewed security footage from the break room as part of our data audit." He turned the laptop toward me. The footage was grainy but clear enough. It showed Patricia entering the break room at 11:47 a.m. on a Tuesday 3 weeks prior. She walked directly to the refrigerator. She opened it. She reached inside and removed a yogurt container, my yogurt container, with my name written clearly on the side. And then she walked to the trash can and threw it away. She did this with the calm, methodical efficiency of someone who had done it many, many times before. "We have footage of 17 separate incidents, dating back 4 months, Raymond said. I stared at the screen. She was throwing away my yogurt the whole time? It appears so. But she was sending emails complaining about my yogurt, saying the smell was making her sick, saying I was creating a hostile environment. Deborah cleared her throat. "Yes, while simultaneously ensuring you never actually had the opportunity to consume the yogurt in question." The absurdity of it hit me like a truck. She'd been disposing of my lunches and then complaining about lunches I never even got to eat. She'd built an entire harassment campaign around a problem she was manufacturing herself. "There's more," Raymond said. He pulled up another window. Email records. During our review, we discovered that Patricia Vance had been using her company email to coordinate with herself. To coordinate with herself? She created a separate email account, external. She'd send herself messages and then forward them to HR as anonymous complaints about your behavior. We traced the IP address. It all came from her home network. The room was very quiet. Deborah spoke carefully. "Patricia has been filing false reports, destroying company property. Your lunches are technically your property on premises, and she's been abusing company communication systems to conduct what appears to be a targeted harassment campaign against you." So what happens now? Patricia's employment is being terminated today. Security is with her now. I didn't know what to feel. Relief mostly, but also this weird hollow disbelief. 6 months. 6 months of questioning my own sanity, wondering if I was somehow the unreasonable one, feeling like a prisoner in my own workspace, and the whole time she'd been orchestrating the entire thing? They offered me 3 days of paid leave to decompress. I took it. When I came back, Patricia's cubicle had been cleared out. Gerald, the succulent, was gone. The color-coded folders were gone. The bow-tie cat photo was gone. Marcus rolled his chair over to my cubicle and just stared at the empty space. Heard she lost it when security came, started screaming about yogurt conspiracies, had to call her emergency contact. "That's sad," I said, and I meant it. Whatever was going on with Patricia, it clearly went deeper than workplace disputes. "You're a better person than me," Marcus said. "I would have thrown a yogurt party right there in her empty cubicle." I laughed. For the first time in 6 months, I actually laughed at work. The company eventually sent me a formal apology letter. They'd reviewed the situation and determined that HR had failed to adequately address the escalating harassment. I got a small settlement, enough to cover the therapy sessions I'd been attending, and a guarantee that my personnel file would reflect none of this. I still work there. Different cubicle now, by the window, no shared partition. And every day, I eat my yogurt at my desk. Strawberry, store brand, in peace. Last month, I got a LinkedIn connection request. The name was familiar, Patricia Vance. Her profile said she was now a workplace wellness consultant. I declined the request. Some connections aren't worth making.
Thank you so much for sticking with me through this absolute roller coaster. If you've ever dealt with a nightmare coworker, a toxic workspace, or just someone who made your professional life miserable for no reason, I see you. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next story. Give this video a like if Patricia's yogurt vendetta had you questioning reality. And hey, if you've got your own workplace horror story, drop it in the comments or send it in. Your story might be the next one we feature. Until next time, protect your lunch and trust your instincts.